Whoa! The all-new Mathews arc is here, and I got 5 years of total bows here. So we're going to talk about the Mathews arcs, the specs behind it, and then compare it to the last 4 years of bows overall. Before you buy, you got to watch this video. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. Stay tuned to the end of the video on how you can win this Baku scooter, $1,000 value. All right, so check it out. The all-new Mathews arc is here. Completely different geometry, new cam system, new riser, and an overall new look. Now, how much better is the Mathews arc? Actually, we've got 5 years of bows here. We're gonna see how it stacks up against the arc and compare and contrast. And before you upgrade, watch this video so you can form your own opinion here. 5 years ago, Mathews came out with the V3X, which was the platform that started this entire new revolution. And Mathews was leaning towards a modular toolless system, starting with the stay-afield system. Next, the bridge lock sight, and overall just coming up with new technologies. But I will say, this bow was a little bit heavier. It was 4.47 pounds, and being a backcountry hunter, I felt like it was bare bones, still a little bit on the heavier side, but extremely forgiving, quiet, dead in the hand. I was able to take one of my better bucks at 72 yards. If you watch that film, it's where I come to full draw and the buck turns in my arrow. Mathews has always been an innovator, but this was before the match grade strings. You'll see here, these are still the old zebra strings. And then two, back to the weight thing, we still have a screw-in mount on the stabilizer. This is before the integrated bridge lock system on the stabilizer as well. But overall, this bow was extremely quiet, dead in the hand, really forgiving, and a lot of guys still rave about the V3X and how it will broadhead tune. So the V3X was never a speed monster, but it was known for accuracy, and that's why a lot of guys loved it so much. It was a tough act to follow. This is the bow that forced Mathews to innovate. The V3X is the reason the Phase 4 and the lift had to improve the limb dampering, the arrow launch feel, and the shot energy transfer, because the V3X was already that good at the basics. This bow was a little bit front heavy, but it settled fast and held steady. Overall, I really enjoyed this bow, took 2 bucks with it, and I say this every year, how are they gonna make it better? But they did. Next up, the Phase 4. In my opinion, one of the all-time greats. One of my greatest archery hunting memories came with this bow, and that was Tron up into the high country, where we put on an insane stock, dropped 3,500 feet in elevation, and ultimately anchored one of the biggest bucks in my life at 28 yards. Phase 4 was the first time Mathews tried to kill the inside of the limbs themselves. The dual bridge limb dampeners were bold, some loved them, some hated them, but it was Mathews' attempt to really radically change the limb system idea. And honestly, this is one of the quietest bows Mathews has ever put out. It's super quiet, it's dead in the hand, has an insanely smooth draw cycle. I haven't shot this bow for a while, and I still remember how smooth the draw cycle is. But back to one of my qualms, the weight issue. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but great length axle to axle, 29. I've been shooting the shorter bows just because for backpacking and packing into the backcountry, it's nice just having a little smaller axle to axle. Now, not as forgiving because you have a shorter brace height, but makes nice for packing in the backcountry. Back to the draw cycle. Phase 4's draw cycle was clean for most shooters, a little higher on the initial load, but it rolled in soft and held really well. The back wall was firm, which I really like, which maybe the lift and lift X aren't as good at, okay? The back wall was firm and the transition left felt controlled. It didn't fight you, it didn't want to bounce on you, and it came back smooth, and the shot felt really honest. So on this bow, Mathews came out with an integrated stabilizer, which helped cut a little bit of weight. As you can see here, they're in each phase of these bows, they're trying to become more streamlined with all the accessories, and it shows in the shot. Hunters who prioritize silence overall still really love the Phase 4, and so do I. Moving on to the lift. Now, one of the bows that really gets me excited. This bow more or less brought about the lightweight revolution for Mathews. This bow was sub 4 pounds, which was a huge deal to me. This bow, bare bones, was lighter than your Hoyt carbons. That's a big, big deal, especially for a backcountry hunter. Now, the Lift was Mathews' first bow in years where they made weight reduction its entire identity. Carbon lightweight in an aluminum frame. That's really hard to do. Ultimately, this was Mathews proving they could make an aluminum bow feel like a carbon bow. And they come out with a new cam system in this year. The SWX cam, which brought faster speeds, cleaner roll, and a snappier feel than the Phase 4. It was the fastest Mathews in years, finally bringing the brand back to the high-speed conversation. In my opinion, this bow really woke Mathews up. So the Lift X holds better than the Phase 4 right out of the box, less weight in the riser, and easier stabilization in the cleaner float at full draw. But I will say that draw cycle gets a little bit sticky at the end. That would be my one complaint about the Lift. The Lift was quieter than most speed bows. The faster the bow, usually the louder it gets, but it still had that small pop at the shot, a byproduct of speed and overall a lightweight design. Fast, crisp, but really not as dead in the hands as some of the previous bows, especially the Phase 4. But you could feel the honesty in the shot. So where shooters really had some pushback here, it was having a hard time with the grip. The bow, especially when you get them this lightweight and this fast, they tend to jump a little bit. You know, a lot of guys complain about the shots breaking left. It wasn't perfect. Some didn't love the grip, and the shot touch was just a little bit louder than the Phase 4. I'm telling you, the Phase 4 was a really good bow. And then obviously still integrated rest system here. This was a 29.5-inch axle, so they bumped it up a half inch, just a little bit more forgiving. Think about it as like you're holding a pencil in your hand versus, say, a 2x4. You're just gonna get more stabilization the longer it is, and that's what you get out of a longer brace height, taller brace height. I don't know, however you say that. Now 2025's bow, the Mathews Lift X. The Mathews Lift X does everything the Lift does, just a little bit better. It features match grade strings, just like the Lift does. And they addressed that limb cracking issue that they had with the Lift. Overall, in my mind, not a ton of differences between the Lift and the Lift X. So whether you're still on the Phase 4 and went to the Lift X, then you would have seen a lot of differences, or the V3X to the Lift X, a lot of differences. But these two bows, not a ton. But now let's go into the all-new 2026 offering, where in my mind, there's a royal ton of differences. So I have the 2026 arc in my hand, 30 inches axle. I have 3 arrows, and I'm gonna go ahead and shoot these 3 arrows and just talk about the shot experience itself. Honest truth here. So overall, it feels quite a bit lighter. Like it's definitely a lighter bow. And for me, here's what I like about Mathews and how everything's streamlined. I like when everything's just tight together. And I say this all the time, whether it's bow hunting or rifle hunting, confidence kills. And if you're confident in your setup, then you're just gonna be better. You're gonna be better in the field. So here we go, shot number 1. So, not a ton of vibration, extremely smooth. Yeah, I say this all the time, but it truly is dead in the hand without the vibration. Way smoother draw cycle than the Lift and the Lift X. Let's go ahead and shoot another one. Yeah, in the Lift X, I was shooting one of the Mathews genuine UV sliders, 5 pins. I'm shooting the 3 pin now. For me, I have less target panic because I don't have to count my pins at full draw. And maybe that's a mental thing, maybe it's real. But this bow, for me, I'm able to balance it better with the pin. I'm telling you, this is the funnest bow that I've ever shot. There's no question. Ooh, 2 fletchings there, slapped each other. That's nice. Okay, so one thing that's new about this year is I'm not a target archer. There's guys that are really good at target archery. One over there in the other room there, Kyle Douglas. But Mathews put a 7-degree down stabilizer. Whether I like that or not, I don't know. I'm gonna have to play with it. I've always just had a straight stabilizer, but that was something that was new this year. New geometry cutouts here in the actual riser. They went a 1/2 inch taller riser overall from the Lift and Lift X, which is gonna give you more stability. And it's faster and just as light as the Lift or Lift X. One of the first things Peyton did when we picked this up, he's like, dang, it's light. This is the new Kodiak color that they came out with. I went with the Kodiak Fade to Black, just because I think the Fade to Black is pretty cool. Yeah, we'll talk about the limbs here in a second. Let's shoot some more. The all-new ARC has a SWX cam system. It's a smoother draw overall, from the front half and even to the back half. You don't get that jump and you don't get that final pull and bounce like you did on the Lift or the Lift X. Yeah, overall just an improved experience. It looks like they have an integrated SCS system here, which you had to buy that separately on the other bows. This is the biggest jump in tech since the Phase 4. You still have the split limbs here, so you have 4 different limbs and you just have this piece of rubber here, just like the Lift and Lift X. So they kept that, which is huge. Yeah, let's go ahead and shoot one arrow out of the previous 4 years of bows, and I'll give you an opinion on each one of those, how they feel. All right, the sight's been gone a while, but we're gonna go ahead and shoot it anyway. Really trying to pay attention to just how the bow feels here. Huh. Dude, that's crazy, the difference experience in the draw cycle. Like, it was like stiff the whole way back. I don't know. One arrow. I wanted to shoot 2, but we'll go 1 arrow. Here we go, Phase 4. Also missing a sight. Dude, this is the bow I killed Toronto. This is a special bow. I've had people be like, hey, can I buy that bow from you? I'm like, heck no. Not a chance. All right, here we go, Phase 4. So what I'm really paying attention for is vibration and just the draw cycle here. Believe it or not, I felt a little more vibration here in the Phase 4 over the V3X, but a smoother draw cycle. More vibration, smoother draw cycle. The Lift, the bow that revolutionized the lightweight revolution from Mathews, which that was one thing I've been complaining about. The Mathews for a long time, I'm like, dude, we're Western hunters. We need a freaking lighter bow. Here we go. 29.5 inch axle to axle, match grade strings. That's that jump I was telling you about. So that jump there at the end, that's what I was talking about. And this has about the same vibration, in my opinion, that the Phase 4, but I'm not comparing apples to apples. So let me just, whoa. I'm not comparing apples to apples here. This one has a quiver on it. The other one didn't have a sight. This one has a stabilizer. It's gonna be a little bit different, but that's what I noticed there. The jump there at the end, the Phase 4, definitely smoother draw cycle. Let's go ahead and shoot the Lift X and see what we think. This is actually really fun. Like, having not shot these bows in so long, this is a completely unbiased opinion on how I feel about it. Again, this is the Lift X, where they just improve things over the Lift. Not a ton of differences. They might yell at me for that, but better limbs. The average guy, I don't know that you're gonna feel a difference, yeah. But here we go, I don't know. Again, this bow doesn't have a quiver on it, so. That bow does feel more locked in than like the Lift. I don't know. I definitely like shooting this bow more than the Lift, more than the Phase 4, and more than the V3X. Like, it's just a better bow. The whole experience start to finish. Not as much vibration here, a little bit smoother draw cycle than the Lift, and you don't get quite the jump there at the end. That's a really nice bow, dude. I forgot how much I love the Lift X. So, most recent bow, the all new Mathews ARC. We're gonna shoot that 1 arrow. Tell you how I feel, how it's different now that I've shot the last 5 years of bows. Just to give you an idea here. Yeah, dude, it just does everything it takes all the things that these bows did well and honestly puts them into one lightweight package. Like, that's the best thing I could describe this. I've never seen such a significant jump in a bow. Is that crazy to say? Because, I don't know, maybe there's more significant technology advances when they came up with the split limb technology from the Phase 4 to the V3X, but like, the bow is really pretty sweet, man. So now, we're gonna do a little test here. Peyton, the man behind the camera, is going to blindfold me and hand me a bow with an arrow. Let me shoot it blindfolded, and I have to guess which bow it is. All right, now for the blindfold test. All right, hand me an arrow and a bow. I'm gonna talk about 2 things. That's 3. Okay, draw cycle, vibration. What should the 3rd thing be? And then guess.
First bow.
I can kind of see. Okay. First bow.
Yeah, we didn't think of that.
Yeah.
You got the feel?
Yeah, I got the feel. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, smooth draw cycle, pretty light, and then overall not a lot of vibration. This is gonna be the Lift X.
Yeah, Lift X.
Haha! I really like this bow, dude. Like, this bow too is night and day over the previous 3 bows from this, when this was released. Yeah, that's a nice bow.
Okay, that's the bow we're giving him.
Okay. That's got to be the V3X.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, no vibration in the hand. No vibration in the hand, but like just kind of a janky draw cycle, honestly. It's consistent. There you go. It's consistent as you pull it back, but it's not consistently smooth. It's kind of like just, I wouldn't say an arduous draw, but like just a consistent, not smooth draw. That was easy to tell. And it's kind of a little heavier. Like you can tell.
One more bow. Last bow.
Last bow, okay. Phase 4? Oh, shit.
I wondered if
You tricked me. You tricked me. It was quiet. It was so smooth and quiet that it was vibration. I honestly thought it was the Phase 4. Dude, the Phase 4 is pretty smooth. Hold on. Let me just shoot it. Okay, now that I just embarrassed myself, let me shoot the Phase 4 real quick. Again, I don't have enough reps with this to really guess. And I've shot this bow most recently too. Oh, geez, you got me all flustered now. You tricked me. You gave me the arc, you sucker. Okay, here we go. No, there's a little jump there at the end. Yeah, no, I mean, geez, that's such a good draw cycle, man. The Phase 4 really has a tremendous draw cycle. You know, too, I didn't feel this. So I was like, there's no way that's the arc. I just didn't feel it, yeah. It's hard too because I'm not getting the consistent string pressure, so I wasn't able to like anchor the bow how I would regularly shoot it because with that face mask on. Like, but let me give you this again. Here we go. The arc. Yeah, it's just a little bit stiffer than the Phase 4 there at the end, but overall tremendous draw cycle, shooting experience, vibration free, and again, it's just the way you're able to quickly. That's one thing I did notice. As soon as I picked this up, I headed to White Mountain Apache, chase bull elk. I noticed I literally got this 1st of September, the day before I was going to leave for a hunt. I hurry and sighted it in. I was just like, oh man, I can get on target quicker without the pin float. It was like, I don't know if that was more just speaks to the geometry and the technology of the new bow or the 3-pin, but it didn't seem like I was battling the target panic like I have in years past. So I don't know, just an observation. In conclusion here, I've got 5 years of bows here, and as I said before, the Mathews arc takes all the brilliant thing from each of the bows, the things that each of the bows did extremely well, and puts them into one. Starting with the V3X, accurate and dead in the hand. You're gonna get all that and more with the arc. The Phase 4, you match the quietness of the Phase 4 and just get a better cam system, better geometry, with an all-new riser, with integrated parts throughout, and the new stabilizer in a completely stay-filled system, integrated. You've got the tuning here. Yeah, it's just good. Then you go up to the lift. Lift was smooth, had some limb issues, but overall some new tech, fully integrated, match grade strings. You get all that and more with the arc, but a much smoother draw cycle and much less vibration, and with a 1/2 inch greater brace height. Now, the Lift X really is a tremendous bow. After shooting all these side by side, I realized just how much better the Lift X is than these previous bows. So, you know, if you're not gonna upgrade to the arc and you wanna just go to the Lift X is still a giant upgrade in my opinion. And again, in all honesty, I'm being 100% transparent here. I haven't shot these bows in years. The Lift and the arc I have, of course, but these other bows not. The advancement in each of these bows from year to year is insane. Now, what does the arc have over the X? I would say the arc has a smoother draw cycle from start to finish, so that's a big improvement. There's less vibration, and I would say I'm getting a lot less pin flow, and it's easier to hold on target than the Lift X. So in my mind, this is one of the greatest improvements I've ever seen in a bow, especially with Mathews. And bear in mind, Mathews, you're a Mathews shield. Just chill out one second. I've shot Prime, I've shot Hoyt, and Mathews is the leading innovator in my mind in all this stuff. And one thing I get, the people are like, well, what about a Mathews over Hoyt? I'm like, well, listen, it's quieter, there's less vibration, and you're gonna get that pop sound of the Hoyt. And when that stuff really matters is when you have a deer at a longer distance that might be already a little alert, they can duck a string. It's happened to me in the last film. You can check out that film here. All right, guys, as I told you at the beginning of the video, we're giving away a Badger Baku scooter. Now, how you win this bad boy, you gotta like this video, subscribe to the Muley Freak channel, and leave a comment on what you think of the all-new Mathews Arc. Good luck, and we'll be picking a winner here shortly.